What's happening, YouTube? In today's video, we are looking at the Eric Clapton Signature Series Stratocaster, and this one is from 1988 in Torino Red. Now, I was lucky enough to actually find this at an estate sale. I put in a bid on it, and I won the bid. For this guitar's age, it's absolutely incredible. A 40-year-old guitar, more or less, to be in what looks like perfect condition here. I only just brought it home, so I got to really look at it. But all the frets are still polished and shiny. I don't see any sort of rust on them. The action on this looks perfect. The strings look perfect. So I'm going to tune it up and we're going to look at it and see what it sounds like. If this was played, we'd expect to see some kind of like belt buckle rash back here. But I really don't see any, so that's good. That means this was most likely never gigged and just kind of kept in the case. There's our serial number up top, showing that this is indeed a 1988 Clapton Signature Series Strat. So that is the first year of the run. And then there's our 9-volt for our active pickups. So the lace pickup sensors on this are kind of a cool concept. It's a lower output magnet, and the whole point of that is that it's supposed to help with string dampening. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up, but essentially by having a giant magnet underneath of your strings, when you strum, the magnetic field is actually going to slow down the string eventually. Is it perceptible or not? I don't know, but it's supposed to help with sustain. That's also why these are active pickups, to help boost them so they don't end up coming out too weak. Beautiful figured maple fretboard. The action on this appears really good. Get that to focus, especially for what is almost a 40-year-old guitar. This thing's in flawless condition. All the hardware is still shiny. There's no patina on it. The pick guards themselves on these and all the plastic will usually start to yellow, but this is nice and bright white. Here's the original Fender tweed case. Absolutely gorgeous. Love the finish on this. It even still has the original caution tag telling you not to store it in any sort of extreme temperatures. And of course, a little Fender inlay there. Leather handle. I guess that warranty is probably expired by this point. You see, it looks like original sale tags in there. I don't know if this strap is original or not because I'm not sure exactly what came with this. It doesn't say Fender on it, but again, I don't really know enough about Fenders to make that call. It does say made in the USA, so possibly. The limited warranty card, which is definitely now expired. The original purchaser. Strings. Polishing cloth. And even an original Fender cable with the tie still on it. There's our trem bar, or sorry, our whammy bar, whatever you want to call that. I have no idea what that is. So I tuned it up, and before I actually plug it in, I kind of wanted to hear just the ambient resonance of the guitar. It actually has pretty good sustain unplugged, and usually that can give you some kind of indication of what it's going to sound like plugged in. The reason why I never really loved Strats is because I'm a humbucker guy. I like that nice warm fat sound. I always thought Strats sounded a little bit thin, but I'm curious to hear how the active pickups, hopefully, potentially, make up for a little bit of that thinness here. Also, I just tuned it and the original strings sound great. So let's get it plugged in. Well, I was a little bit afraid of that. So I went to play this and I kind of assumed the battery's gonna be dead. So I went to change the battery, and as soon as I pulled it out, I saw there's all this corrosion around the contacts here. So I gotta clean that before I can play this. I'm gonna use some WD-40 contact cleaner. I've used this on electronics before on my truck, and it works really well. I just gotta make sure that I don't touch the paint with this because I don't know how it's gonna react and I don't want to ruin the finish. Well, I figured plastic wrap is probably the best solution for this. This stuff, it's not corrosive, But again, I don't want it interacting with the paint because I don't know what the result of that's going to be. So do my best here to keep only plastic wrap, keep all this covered. You can get this stuff on your skin. I've done it before. It just really dries it out, so I'm trying not to. Nice. Okay, so it does look like that's in fact working. I'm going to do this a couple more times, get it totally clean. All right, this is looking a lot better. I gave it a little bit of time to dry. So I think we're good there. I'm going to throw a new battery in it, and hopefully now this works. Well, after cleaning the contacts, it didn't work. I put this battery in. Just want to double check and make sure this is live. Yep, that battery's got juice. So, looks like something's wrong with the guitar. Let the troubleshooting begin. First thing I'm going to do is check the pickup. When I plugged this in, I didn't get any sort of sound, but I also didn't get any sort of buzzing. So I don't think it's anything wrong with the pickup, but I'm just going to kind of go order of operations here and eventually take off the strings and take off the pickguard. So it looks like everything's good there. My cable is making contact where it should be to complete our low voltage circuit here. So now that means we're taking the pickguard off. I'll tell you something, this was not what I had planned for this video. Alright, let's open the tomb here, see what's going on. Really careful with this. Just kind of peek under it. Oh boy. I can smell the corrosion. Alright, so I'm going to go through and just kind of manually eyeball everything. I'm not going to put that on video because that'll take way too long. Alright, so there's a lot going on here. The control board, whatever this is, seems fine. I don't see anything blatantly broken, corroded, exploded. So that looks okay. I don't know enough about Fender wiring, so I'm going to have to look at a wiring diagram and kind of try to figure out what's going on. Well, after spraying everything down, getting the corrosion off, everything looked good. I was messing around with the battery, and this thing completely disintegrated. And this either wasn't attached, or the wire that was attached had completely broken down. So I'm going to strip these and attach them to a 9-volt and see if I can get some sound out of it, and maybe that'll help me narrow down what the problem is here. Okay, so I've stripped the lead lines for the pickup booster, run them out the side. They're touching the 9-volt, so that should give me power. Now I have my ingenious redneck string device here, and we're plugged into the amp, and if I strum this, please tell me I get sound. Ooh, I hear something. All right, so that's my problem. Well, she is all restrung, back in business, polished, looking gorgeous. Oh yeah. Oh, also side note, whoever invented these tuning pegs with this stupid tension thing without an actual loop through deserves to go to The Hague and be tried for war crimes. This was the most annoying guitar I've ever strung in my entire life because with the fat strings, they kept wanting to pop out of there every time you so much as like breathed on it. So if I were to keep this guitar, that's probably the only thing I would actually change about it. I've already tested it out. These pickups sound absolutely incredible. This has to be the heaviest sounding Strat I've ever played. All right, I've got our boost cranked all the way up because I really want to hear what this sounds like. I've got a little bit of distortion going. I got a tube screamer and an archer, and that's about it, going right into my Orange Crush clean. Let's hear it. That is a heavy sound. Let's play some fun stuff on this. And I'm going all the way for the bridge pickup here. Nah, we'll go bridge and middle pickup. Man, the power chords sound amazing. Something tells me this is a Van Halen machine. I can't really play Van Halen. The sustain is just ridiculous. I've never played an active pickup guitar, so maybe that's what's wowing me. But the tone itself is pretty darn good. I'm very, very impressed. Just wants to keep going. Try some AC/DC. So yes, for those of you with good eyes at home, there's been a continuity change here because it's been several nights of me trying to film this after my daughter goes to sleep and fixing this thing up at the same time. So if you made it this far in this video, I really appreciate you. I'm probably going to do 2 videos. The first one will be this long one that you're watching. The second one will be just the demo and kind of like the unveiling and all the stuff that came with this. Final thoughts on this guitar. This is a really cool axe. I'm not really a metal player, and I feel like this thing lends itself to playing metal, as you've probably heard in that demo. Super heavy, hi-fi tones almost. I wouldn't call it a humbucker tone because it's not. It's that 80s super strat sort of sound. And I think this is a really fun guitar to have in your arsenal. It's probably not something I'm going to hold on to because I just don't see myself playing it. And something like this that is vintage, that isn't going to come up a lot and isn't being made like this anymore, I want it to go to somebody who's going to actually play it. So I'm going to be listing this on Reverb. And full disclosure, you know, that there had to be a fixed battery and that the volume pot scratched a little bit. So I'm not trying to like scam anybody, but it works perfectly with the volume over the 5, which who plays with your volume under a 9 anyway? Certainly not me. This is an amazing guitar. A really cool piece of rock and roll history, especially Fender's entry into like the real hard rock scene, which again I think is what this guitar does really well. Those lace sensors are awesome. I've never played an active pickup before, so that was really a neat experience for me to kind of get to hear these and play around with them and see what they do. And hopefully this guitar finds a home with somebody who's really gonna love it. I rescued this from an old people estate sale, and it probably would have ended up in a dumpster or just rotting away in somebody's shed or attic. So it was really, really a cool find. I've never found something like this at an estate sale. And to get to fix it up to the point where it's now playable and somebody else can enjoy it, I think is really meaningful when you talk about the heart and soul of an instrument like this. So thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next. Have a great day.